All right, everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Goddess of Magi, and we are going to start off our lessons in astrology with sun signs. We're not going to get too deep into the basics. I want you to learn the archetypes first. So we're going to start off with sun signs, and I think that in this day and age, when you have the horoscopes and everything, I think that is a great place to start. So that's where we're going to start. All right. First I have is Aries. Aries is super independent. Aries likes to be first. They are highly competitive. They are definitely initiators, go-getters, and they don't have a filter. One of the signs that definitely don't have a filter. And sometimes when Aries gets upset or agitated, irritated, pissed off, they are going to explode. It is a quick burst of temper and then they go back to being fine. It's almost like, guys, first of all, yes, I did a thing with the hair, so we're rocking that. I'm feeling very retro. But anyway, so they like to be first. They have these outbursts of temperament that you kind of just have to accept if you're going to be with an Aries or be friends with an Aries, and depending on their rising and their moon, sometimes their temperamental outbursts kind of throw you for a loop. It's like, holy shit, I did not see that coming. And they're an Aries, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, right? And because they're so competitive, they're kind of like childlike, like Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer are the babies of the zodiac. So Aries is all about me, me, me. They're very self-centered, focused on the self, and they think everything is a game that they can win. They think adventure, or even like not even adventure, just like doing dumb shit is adventure. Okay, so they're the ones who's going to jump out of the plane if that's what you so choose to do. And they have this enthusiasm where you have to keep them entertained. Their minds are here and there and everywhere. So it's important if you're an Aries to have something that is going to keep you focused, something that is going to keep your attention, because you're easily bored. If you're dealing with an Aries, sometimes, they could be just as bad as Gemini with the here and there and everywhere. So that's something to keep in mind. Aries is a fire sign, okay? The first of the fire signs, which we will get into throughout the entire span of everything. But just know that it is a wonderful, wonderful beginning to the zodiac, because again, they're independent thinkers. They want to do things their way at the end of the day. And they're not afraid of getting into a healthy debate, of conflict. And they're very independent, just like all fire signs, but they definitely are. And they're driven to kind of prove themselves. They want to be first. They want to be the original. They want to capture the attention of others. They have to be first. They have lots of strong opinions, as most fire signs do. And they're courageous. They're ready to defend them. They're just bold, okay? They like initiating new things, new projects, and they just kind of do what the fuck they do. And we all kind of just have to accept them as they are and say, you know what? That's an Aries for you, because we know that their irritation or whatever is going to calm down after a few moments. They might have a little bit of a temper tantrum, but honestly, they're not one of the ones that I would say be careful for with their explosions. So either way, we'll get into that later. Aries does have some weaknesses, okay? They're highly impatient. They want to go now. They want to do what they need to do right now. And on top of that, they have this temper where it's like at the drop of a hat, they're just irritated. They're like, fuck this, fuck that. I don't want to deal with it. And when an Aries says they don't care, they really don't care. Like I can't even describe it. It's like the sheer audacity almost. Sometimes it's just like, God damn. And every sign has their irritable traits, right? And this is one of Aries because they really don't give a shit at times. And their impatience can cause them to react without thinking things through. So it's really, unless you know the rising and the moon, it's really hard to pin down some of, what would tick them off type of thing. You could feel like you're always walking on eggshells because they're so intense, and they could be reckless when they're saying how they feel, right? Or reacting in any given moment. But that is all that I have for Aries. These are going to be general because I'd like to focus more so on the aspects as well as the other planets. Because I won't say everybody knows their sun sign, but you're going to get the gist as we go through the planets, as we go through certain asteroids and deeper into, as I like to call it, a course. You're going to start to understand astrology at a deeper level. And whether or not you decide to draw your own charts or whatever, this is something that you can use every day when it comes to business partners, romantic partners, children. It's just a way of understanding others. So I will see you back here for the moon signs. I will see you back here for the rest of the sun signs. Taurus is next. All right, y'all, we are back with Taurus. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, okay? And I failed to mention in the last part that Aries is ruled by Mars. Anyway, we're learning as we go. So Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it is very romantic. It is very sensual. It is very aesthetic oriented, dealing with the senses. In addition to that, it is a sister sign of Scorpio. They are highly possessive. Okay. Taurus, yes, they like to cuddle. They like physical touch and everything like that, but they like their senses to be engaged. You got to relate to them on multiple levels, okay? You have to put in the work, especially depending on what their rising and their moon sign is, or Venus or Mars for that matter. We'll save that for another video. So Taurus is kind of like Cancer in the regard that they like to stay home. They like to chill at home. They like to relax, get some food, make some food, order food. There's got to be food, a great beverage. Maybe your Taurus drinks, maybe they don't. Either way, they're going to have some tasty beverages, some tasty snacks, and some quality shows that they can watch with you. They work hard. They're kind of lazy in the regard that they like to make money. So that is what motivates them to get up and go to work every day. But at the end of the day, they like routine and they hate like changes and consistencies. So if they're going to work and, all of that, and something changes, that can kind of shift their attitude, shift their whole experience, because they're like, ugh, they like routine. These guys are okay, they're grounded, but they're not as grounded as Capricorn and Virgo, in my opinion. Okay. Taurus is definitely someone who is more than likely going to like nature, depending on their rising and their moon. This is someone who wants to be surrounded by beautiful things. Okay, beautiful people, beautiful furniture, whatever, knickknacks, whatever you have. This person's probably somebody who loves decor, who might decorate their house for every single holiday. And it's not just them, but that is definitely a trait that you see with this Venus energy. It's like the need to want to beautify the space. And once they get into a routine, they're so earthy. They're in the same routine. And they're highly stubborn. Oh my God, are they stubborn? But they also like to be in control. So it's hard to communicate sometimes to Taurus because they literally are bullheaded. When people say that, it's a fact, okay? They're patient and consistent because most earth signs are. All of them are. I said most. But they are very hard workers. Just like Capricorn, they're very hard workers. And Taurus likes the reward that comes from hard work. Whereas Capricorns might not like to spend their money all the time. Maybe they're more frugal than others, but Taurus likes to spend their money on experiences and things that will beautify and stimulate their senses. They have such tremendous willpower. They have the ability, especially in Mars in Taurus, to go on and on and on and on. And sometimes when it's not even in their best interest because they're so hard-headed and stubborn, they want to continue the battle. And it's almost as if they're not tired, but they experience their tiredness in naps. They are one for naps, just like Pisces and Cancers. So Taurus is the type of energy that, Mars aside, it takes a lot to get them to blow their top, hence the patience. It takes a lot for them to react out of character, if you will, or explode. But when they are pissed off, you'll know. They definitely have an explosive temperament. Once something wrong has happened, once they've been, or they feel as though they've been accosted, violated, they will react. But typically it's a buildup. They take it in stride, but when there's a pattern, then they explode, they react. Okay? Taurus can be somewhat materialistic or overly focused on finances because Venus rules love and finance. So it kind of goes hand in hand that they're going to be focused on monetary gain, on their career, on moving up in society. It just goes hand in hand. Sometimes, depending on the particular person, it can get as far as greed They could be very greedy, very money hungry, judgy, that type of thing. But they don't really react to criticism. So you can't really tell them shit. They're stubborn. All right. And they don't, they just keep on doing what they do. It's hard to talk them into something that they don't align with. They're very fixed in that type of opinion mindset. And ultimately, they're not going to do something they don't want to do. So if you're trying to date a Taurus and you're trying to fit them into a mold or pressure them into something, it won't work. And then when they feel as though you're trying to do that, they will stay away. They will stalk you, but they will still stay away in an effort to kind of prove a point. These people, sometimes they take a while to act, so you can't rush any decision, especially a major decision that they have to give their opinion, advice, action, make action on, what have you. You have to let them work through their process and work through their struggle. They also can overindulge because Venus is here and Venus loves to enjoy herself. She is the life of the party, the belle of the ball. And sometimes Taurus can be a little reckless, but overall, they tend to be overindulging in certain vices. Sometimes it can go far left, but they love to have a good time. Let's put it like that. They don't really, not all, it depends on their rising and their moon, but some of them really don't know moderation. They don't know what that means. So it's something that you're going to have to work with them on and try to be understanding about. But I hope that helps. Again, we're going to keep these brief, and I will see you in the next part where we talk about Gemini. Okay, y'all, we are back on the Goddess of Magi channel talking about Gemini. First of all, you didn't tell me that my hair looked like a peacock. Now I have it faced the other way. We're looking cool. We're looking cute. Okay. And y'all didn't even tell me my gloss was off. But that's a topic for another day. Let's get started. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, all right? They are very, 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 first of all, I'm a Gemini Sun and a Gemini Mars, so relatable. They're very talkative. And they are, should I say we are, because I'm feeling a vibe. I don't know, but Gemini has the tendency, just like I just did, where their brain will go left, right, right, and then back again before things compute in their brain. Their shit is constantly moving a mile a minute, just like Virgos, but in a more anxious way, because Gemini can literally feel it in the limbs. Like, most Geminis need something to do with their hands or their mouth. They're biting their lip, they're chewing their nails, they're biting their nails, biting the side of their nails, smoking, chewing gum. Like, we're constantly doing shit with our hands and mouth. Gemini is very, very charismatic. People call us fickle. Nah, I wouldn't say that. This is a Gemini talking about Geminis. You have to keep our attention. You have to engage us. If you're boring and you cannot communicate, stop it. Let me just back that shit the fuck up, because I'm no longer interested, because now we're wasting time. This cannot possibly grow. It can't go anywhere, because you're not stimulating enough. And we're not being mean. when sapiosexual was, is it still a thing? I don't know. That's us. Okay. You need to be able to talk to us. You need to be able to communicate. You need to have ideas. You need to be able to bounce stuff on and off of each other. You need to be able to talk about every fucking thing in the universe. And it doesn't have to be in depth. The great thing about Gemini, when they say they're fickle, no, we're just able to move on. We're able to relate, because we have this dualistic nature. And because we have the dualistic nature, there is no time of reaction for us. It is an immediate reaction. Something happens, a Gemini can react just like that. It's not 0 to 60 in 1,000 years. It's 0 to 60 right now. Just like a fire sign. And it's because we're able to compute it literally like a computer so quickly that people are like, well, why are you upset? Did you not hear the tone? Did you not hear the words? Like there's so many reasons why people look at Gemini and they are confused, because we react just like that, just like Aries. Very similar to Aries. Again, Gemini is one of those baby signs. It's the baby air sign. And Gemini is very opinionated. Gemini is very argumentative at times as well, especially Mars in Gemini and even Moon in Gemini. This is something where you might have seen this past new moon in May. It's May 31st tonight. Last night was the new moon in Gemini. There might be more arguments creeping up as a result of that, because Gemini likes to fucking argue. If you are not engaging with Gemini on their level, Gemini will tune you the fuck out. They will not listen. They will be in their own world. They will talk to hear themselves talk sometimes, because it's like whatever you're saying is just so far beyond what they are willing to deal with or comprehend. They don't want to deal with your shit. So they will tune you the fuck out. And then when you're like, oh, were you no, what the fuck did you say? Because I stopped listening 5 to 10, possibly 15 minutes ago. So Gemini is also somebody who is going to be that master of many, right? Jack of all trades, master of none. They're trying to be master of many. And they have to understand that although everything seems fascinating, because they have this very curious, childlike mentality, energy, which is one of the reasons that makes them one of the best parents, because they're more relatable. They're able to understand, again, that dualistic energy. Gemini is able to see various situations from various degrees, subjective and objective. And because they're able to do that, it's a little scary. So sometimes when most people are feeling like they're playing devil's advocate, yes, they're definitely playing devil's advocate, but there's a fucking reason. They see that there is some sort of logic in that side of an argument or of a debate. So oftentimes they will say shit opposite of what most people are saying just to trigger the weak. They are not always easy to get along with. They are definitely in their own lanes, okay? And the thing about Gemini is they are very popular. Very, very popular. Did you know JFK was a Gemini? Prince? Eminem's a Libra. Eminem's a Libra, bitch. But I say that to say Johnny Depp. There's so many Geminis and people are like, oh, they're fucking crazy. No, they just have a dualistic energy. They're very intelligent. They grasp information very quickly and they retain it. And they're highly perceptive and analytical. And they're hilarious as fuck. Same thing with Sagittarius. They are sister signs. So Gemini and Sag, man, they like two peas in a pod when they get together. Same thing with Aries sometimes and Geminis. They're a good friend match. Sometimes Gemini can be psychic in the way that they can look at something and figure it out. They are very good problem solvers and they're quick to adapt to the energy shifts around them. That is why they were like, oh, you're fucking crazy. First of all, if I'm eating a piece of chicken and you come in with attitude, now I got an attitude. Okay. And it's not even just the water influence. It's just that ability to literally shift into the energy that is around you. And that's what seems to be so terrifying about Geminis, because you can't approach them with any bullshit, because they're going to meet you with that same fucking energy like a mirror, like a twin. Okay? Gemini has a very creative imagination. And unlike some of the things that you read, they're not afraid of their emotions. But oftentimes their words are misconstrued. They can have a very direct way of communicating, and it's not always well received. But they need to realize that, you gotta face everything, and you have to understand that you can't always react to the emotions. You need to feel them and experience them, because the Gemini energy wants to react. And that's what I think happens to block us from forming so many relationships, because we want to react, right? Instead of just feeling the emotions and working through them. But at the end of the day, Gemini is going to be themselves. They're not going to sugarcoat shit for anybody. And that's just something that you have to deal with. I'll see you back here for Cancer. All right, y'all, we are back with Cancer. The first 4 are done. We have so many more episodes for you, and I'm sorry, I'm still trying to do the editing on my own. Look, guys, I can't pay someone to do it. So if someone wants to help me, email me. But listen, let's talk about Cancer, shall we? Cancer is ruled by the moon. All right, and I have Cancer rising. So we have like a thing. Cancer rising, Cancer moon, sometimes Cancer in the 7th house. You have a thing for the moon. And you can feel the different shifts in energy as the moon wanes and waxes, as do you and your emotions. Cancer is highly, highly sensitive, but at the same time are very protective, self-protective and protective of their loved ones. So even though they're sensitive, just think of the crab, right? It's got that hard shell that you got to fucking chisel to get to that sweet meat inside, right? So Cancer is just like that, with that harder exterior, that harder shell on the outside, and they have this very tender, sensitive, highly emotional, highly intuitive spirit on the inside that they feel the need to protect because of how much hurt and disappointment that they've had. They go into self-protective mode very often. Sometimes so much so that they become a hermit. They withdraw, they got to take some time to themselves to rejuvenate. And they love comfort. Like I told you about Taurus, Cancer loves them a good nap. And as much as Taurus loves to eat, Cancer loves to eat, but Cancer loves to cook. They love to cook. They love to learn about cooking. They like to watch cooking videos, more than likely. And this is someone who has that sensitive energy where they will forgive you, but they will not forget. They will not forget. Just like any other water sign, they take whatever the fuck you do that crosses them very personally. As they should, though, right? Because no one has time for the nonsense and the bullshit. Like, treat everybody fairly. Cancer has very strong boundaries, but they do not always let those boundaries be known. They might expect you to anticipate those boundaries, like, oh, well, you should have known. That type of energy. And they are good at taking care of their loved ones. Cancer is one of those very, very in tune and connected waters. I mean, they're all water signs are very in tune and connected, but Cancer is, I think, especially when it comes to family and friends, like the most well-tuned in, plugged in, right? Think of the Matrix, think of Avatar, like plugged in, connected to their loved ones. And their emotions sometimes, they have insecurities, and those insecurities need to be worked on. And this is as well as, we're talking about sun signs, but we will get into the rising signs a little bit later. But as you'll be able to tell, there's a lot of similar characteristics in the rising sign versus the sun versus the moon. It's just kind of how it plays out. When we talk about the sun signs, we are talking about how we exert our natural reactions. This is our intellect, if you will. Okay. Now, Cancer can be very, very, if something's wrong with you, they can tell. They might not tell you that they can tell, but they can feel it. And then they might start reacting differently because of that energy. They're very, very connected to your vibe, your energy, and they're connected to home and family. You will see them helping out their loved ones, cooking for their loved ones, and they are looking for long-term romance. They're looking for security because of all of that insecurity that they've built up within themselves. Of course, dealing with bullshit, right? But sometimes Cancers fall in love so deeply that they can't really see reality for what it truly is. And I think that with Cancer, you also have to consider that they're highly psychic. So it's going to be hard for you to lie, especially when it comes to any type of emotion, because they can sense the emotions. They can feel your emotions. So if you're being distant, if you're being, if you're lying, like, they're going to feel that shit. And they're going to ask, but they might also, depending on what they have going on in their chart, They might even do full-on investigations because, again, they have those spidey senses that can just tune in to the core, to the essence. And that's part of their beauty. But that's also why they are very quick to withdraw and go back into themselves when they feel like they've been treated badly or unfairly, because they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to face the harsh reality. They want to just kind of go back into themselves. Cancer have been called crybabies. They're not crybabies. They're just in tune with their emotions. Again, any shift in the emotional fabric between people, Cancer can feel it. So whether they're watching something on TV, whether a friend is telling them something, or they're experiencing something firsthand themselves in the moment, Cancer is going to have an emotional reaction. And a lot of times it's crying. As a Cancer rising, Venus Cancer, I can attest to that. I am a crying ass motherfucker. But we have to understand that that is part of having that Cancerian energy, is being able to tune in to the emotional fabric of others and have that empathy. And that is what makes Cancer. Cancer, again, is the baby water sign, as I like to call it. So it's still kind of getting used to all of those sensations, getting used to feeling the vibrations of others that have nothing to do with themselves, but yet they feel that energy and they have to react. They have to process it. They have to release it, because, good God, if they're feeling everything that they themselves feel plus what someone else feels, then it's only natural that they would have to cleanse themselves and release it back into the space, back into the universe, whatever you want to call it. So Cancers have a lot to deal with, and it's almost like the emotional part doesn't come second nature, like the Scorpio, like the Pisces. They're just not, they're connected, but they try to prevent themselves from feeling it. And that's why they withdraw and disconnect. Guys, I hope that helps you. We will conclude with Cancer, and then I will post the next group of 4 probably in a week and a half. I have some events going on, but I will let you know when those videos are coming out. And as always, please subscribe, follow on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. And I love you. Stay witchy.